This week's portion is Terumah, and now begins a section of Torah from the book of Exodus that will describe how to build the Mishkan and the building of the Mishkan, taking up 4.5 portions as we conclude the book of Exodus. It raises a question first about whether Torah is narrative or whether it is a collection of laws and a manual for worship, because we have had the narrative all the way from the beginning of Genesis and through the portion Yitro in Exodus, in which the people receive the Torah at Mount Sinai. And then all of a sudden there was a shift in last week's portion Mishpatim, in which we were presented with a series of laws that help define what is a just society. And then we continue without the narrative with the description of how to build the portable sanctuary, the Mishkan. So there is that question: is Torah narrative or is Torah a collection of laws? So if we depart from the narrative idea of what Torah is and just look at the Torah itself as a guideline for what it means to be a Jewish people, then we have another question. Is Torah about law or is Torah about worship? In other words, are we supposed to learn from the Torah how to worship God? Or are we supposed to learn from the Torah how to behave towards our fellow human beings? And the juxtaposition of the portion Mishpatim with the portion Terumah highlights that question and answers it as well. And I think that we are supposed to learn from this juxtaposition that just as we expend so much effort and sacrifice so much of ourselves in order to worship God, we have to do the same thing in order to ensure that we have a just and equitable society. Just as we overlay the material used in the Mishkan with gold and other fancy material, so too we have to give our best in order to make society better. And even though it might be intuitive that we need to be good, moral, and ethical people, the idea that worship is integral to what it means to be Jewish means that God is the basic foundation upon which everything we do is based. So it's not just good to be good because it makes sense to do that. We need to do that because God demands it, and we find God in being good. Just as we cannot go to the sanctuary by being evil people. We need to be good people in order to enter the sanctuary. So the two go hand in hand, and that, I think, is the important message and the significance of Terumah following Mishpatim. Shabbat Shalom.